destiny. Got purpose and passion, see. Books, business, and accessories. She walks in favor and she's blessed indeed. She keeps her head and her heels high, and her limit soars beyond the sky. If it's purpose she's pushing, you tune in with Table Talk.
Well, great evening, and welcome, and thank you for joining Table Talk with the Diva. I am Arthur Pierre Collins, and yes, I am always excited and delighted and ignited to share information with you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we are excited about this amazing show. We have the fabulous, beautiful, and definitely amazing, tremendous Tracey Powell on the platform that's joining us today, and she will be sharing some information and nuggets and tools for us to be better. And so we definitely are excited. So I want you to pull up your chair. Thank you for my jingle. All right, we are ready. Hey, we're ready. So yes, I said we are excited and delighted for you to be here. So I need you to pull up your chair at the table if you are interested or needing information about credit repair or home buying. This is the show you want to be in front of the screen. You don't want to miss the information. And guess what? It costs you nothing to listen, to pull up the chair. Knowledge is power. And so she's going to share a lot of information with us that we can just go and get it anywhere. And so she is a woman of integrity. And so this is something you can take to the bank. Whatever she says, you can trust it and believe it that it will work for you if we follow the instructions and the guidance that is given. So again, welcome to Table Talk. Well, good evening, Miss Tracey Powell. How are you?
I am so wonderful and delighted to be here. It
Yes.
is just amazing to be in your presence. You are such a wonderful and beautiful person. And I'm so glad that you thought enough of me to have me join you on your show.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, thank you so much. I am honored. I am so honored that you said yes. First of all, you said yes to God, and then you said yes to Table Talk. And so I am grateful, and I am so humble for this opportunity to sit and be a student and just learn from you. I'm so grateful for that. But we are going to move along, and of course, you guys, we always have just a little stay in the know in order to grow. We've got to stay in the know. Just a little quick current event, not really current, but watching the news, just wanted to kind of drop a nugget. Ladies, be mindful of your surroundings. Be very mindful because there are guys out there. And they're reaching in the purses while you're at the gas station or getting out your cars, or to your cars. So be mindful. Hold on to your bag, and if you don't have to carry it heavy, get the little crossbody, the little cute little bodies that we carry. Because these clowns are out here and they're snatching your wallet. So lady said that today I saw the news, a woman was at she said she stepped in her car going into Walmart and she wasn't 2 feet away from her door. And she said he reached in and took off running, and there's another guy that pulls up and, intercepts and helps him out. So just wanted to drop some love on you. Make sure you are paying attention to your surrounding. It is so important. Pay attention to your surroundings because there's so much happening, and everyone doesn't fear God, and they just, don't have empathy. So be careful and mindful of where you're going. And if you can't, always try to have a buddy with you or someone with you, and definitely have your little mace or the little pepper spray, whatever you need to do. Or if you are licensed to carry, like me, then you do what
And
you
me.
do. Point blank, period. Because I want to stay safe. I want to go home. When I leave, I like to go home. And I want to, I don't want to hurt nobody, but I don't want to be hurt. So hey, I am that girl. Don't mind protecting myself. So with that being said, we're gonna move right along. So Miss Tracey, I always have an icebreaker to get
Okay.
us going. And I'm not gonna deal with these braids tonight. I said I wasn't gonna pull it up, but after you see me grab a scrunchie, y'all already know sisters tired and the braid drop. So I was like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna try for a moment. Keeping it real on Table Talk with the Diva. Here we go. But I'm going to give you 3 words. I'll give you a word. You give me a word. Whatever comes up, comes out. It doesn't matter what you say. We're going to just, see where we go with it. And my first word, will be investment.
Appreciation.
Come on, I'm getting it. I got you. I love that. Okay, appreciation. All right. I'll put a few down here. Um, ownership.
Wealth building.
Ooh, love it. No, she know what she talking about, honey. I love it. Love it. Yeah, I do. Ooh, wow. And most of all, last but not least, my favorite word, destiny.
Favor.
Jesus. Yes. Spoken like a queen. My word was investment. Miss Tracy's word was appreciation. My second word was ownership. And her word was wealth building. Come on now. And last but not least, my word was destiny. And her word was favor. And truly, favor is falling all
Yes,
around us.
it is.
Falling. And so, some say favor isn't fair, but I say it differently. I believe that favor is fair. I said because God chooses who he wants to favor, when, where, how. So it is fair because he makes the decision to favor us all. So hey, however you flow with it, let it roll with it. But here for me, favor is fair. And so favor is falling. So I am so excited again. So Miss Tracy, let's just share a little bit. Talk to the viewers. And again, for those of you that may just be tuning in, grab a family member that you care about, that is important to you, and you know that they may have some issues with their credit. They got a little, jacked up credit, been there, done that too. Maybe have, I don't know, evictions or whatever. They have some credit issues, or they're wanting to purchase a home. Get them on the line. Just hit them up. You text them for anything else. Text them, say, hey, Table Talk with the Divas on. She has a powerful woman on of influence that knows her stuff. She has over 20 years of experience. You might want to get on and watch. So call them all to the table and pull up a chair and let's learn together. So Miss Tracy, share a little bit about who you are and the experience, and then we'll roll into the rest of our conversation.
Okay. First of all, I'm a woman of God. And everything I do, I pray and I ask God to lead me and guide me in the right direction so that when I am doing what I'm doing, I'm touching somebody to help them be better than they were yesterday and that they can build on today to make their tomorrow even better. When I look at that, I have been in banking and finance, real estate and mortgages over 20 years. I've been a banking center manager. I've worked with the CRA team at banks. I've worked as a mortgage lender. I have managed the Home Ownership Center for Invest Atlanta before. I have been a coach. I'm a certified HUD housing counselor. I am an accredited financial counselor. I am a realtor. I have a nonprofit called Thrive Now 78 Incorporated, and it's really working on building a foundation of wealth, mentally, spiritually, and financially. I am so pushed, driven, just purposed to make a difference in other people's lives. So I found in being in the banking and finance industry and being in the mortgage industry, real estate industry, my biggest gift that I can give is knowledge. And that's how God feeds me. Because when I can actually help someone understand the process and take it to the next level, when I can help someone be able to sit at the table as an expert in what they're trying to do, and when I can help someone understand that they are hiring a team to work on their behalf to create what they want, which in most cases is generational wealth, then I have done my job. So that's what I do in a nutshell. I also work with Operation Hope. which is a nonprofit organization, and we actually give financial coaching and financial counseling for free. And that counseling is not only for people wanting to start a business, but people who also want to become homeowners, or people who just don't understand their credit, finances, or how to budget. We can help you with that as well. But I love all that I do because it rolls all together into one big cinnamon roll. That's what I like. So that funnel can push out that dough, and that dough can create what you want it to create, because we're in the kitchen and we're baking something up. And for me, what I'm baking is that cinnamon roll. For you, it could be a cake, but for others, it's a house. For others, it's a business. For some, it's just to pay off their debt. For some, it's to learn how to budget. For some, it's to actually create a new system so that they are financially savvy, so that they can actually teach their children how to be financially savvy. So we can get out of the mindset of being poor and get into the mindset of, okay, I might be broke today. That's just a temporary situation. But guess what? I will live in wealth. I will understand what that looks like. I will know how to generate that, not only for me, but for those who are coming after me, because I live in the principles of what God has for me. And he will give you the desires of your heart. He is a God that will take care of all of your needs. He will do what you asked him to do, but he will do even more. It's so funny how I ask God for things and he surprises me every time. And people ask me, why you get so giddy? I said, I get so giddy because my dad is always taking care of me. My daddy is always turning things around. When I ask him to give me a car, he gives me more than just a car. He's going to give me the top of the line. He's going to give me what I asked for and more. So understand the principles of believing, understand the principles of faith, understand the principles of setting a strong foundation right here and now. Yeah. So that as you walk through what you want, as you go through your journeys, he never said there wouldn't be storms. But through the storms and the rain, we have to keep the course. We have to stay the course, because through that course, there will be rainbows.
Yes. Ooh, girl. I'm like, okay, Lord, I don't want to interrupt because this is getting, as my dad said, gooder and gooder. You got me on the edge of my seat. My God, you do so much, and you just, oh my God, you dropped so much fire just now. I appreciate that. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. But you do so much. So let's go back a little bit, because it was getting so good. And I'm like, okay, I got to take a break. But thank you for that. But you have over 20 years of experience. And so what would be, I guess, and you said you shared in a nutshell what you do, but, and also gave a race report about it. So that was beautiful. I love that. I love it. So tell me, what would be the difference between, I guess, credit counseling and a repair service? Is it the same, one and the same, when you helping someone with credit build and establish, or just get credit? Or what do you start with someone, let's say that they have a eviction and maybe are own an apartment complex or something like that? What would be maybe a couple of things you would tell them to work on their credit? How would we start if I was to come to you for credit repair? Where would we start? Because I'm interested in my cake. I want a cake. So that's my dough. I want a cake, and I want me a brand new house. Mm-hmm. I want another house. I want a brand new house. So where would I start? What would you take me through?
Okay. Now, first, let me just clarify one thing. As far as credit repair, a lot of times people will go to credit repair agencies, and they will pay for that agency to take their information and do all the work themselves. So that's totally different from what I would do. Okay. I would be a credit coach. A credit coach is teaching you how to fish. The credit coach actually will pull your credit or have you pull your credit, which you can do, at www.annualcreditreport.com, and you can get all 3 reports and review them. And I urge everybody to do that. And once you review your credit reports, if there's an eviction or if there's anything on there that we need to address, then we would actually look to see where it is, what stage is in, if there could be a settlement made, But what we want to do is actually go, and I would work with you to do that, into reaching out to that company to find out what the options are. Right now, because of COVID, I have seen in most cases before COVID, nobody was making any type of agreements. They wanted you to pay in full, whatever it was. But there are a few that will take a settlement, that will just help you get through that to get to the next step. And then, if there's I had one lady where the company that owned the property that she was renting that evicted her is no longer in business.
Wow.
So it's always good to pull your credit and find out what's going on, because if they don't respond, there could be a possibility that we could get some things taken off of your credit report. When you have bad debt removed, a lot of times that's going to help you in the long run, but understand it's a process.
Right.
And when that process is happening, your credit scores will go up and down. They will shift because you are removing old debt or bad debt, and now you are re-establishing yourself with good debt. So it's a time-consuming effort, but it's worth every bit of time that it takes to do it. So basically with that, we would look at it on a one-to-one basis, finding out where it is, what company it is, how we can work it out, and how long it's been there. And that would determine how we would move forward on that.
Okay, on the credit. Okay. Because my husband and I are in the program, so I have a little bit of knowledge of it, but not a whole lot, because you are the expert and we are the student. But we're on our way. So we're excited about learning and getting the home that we are believing God for.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, that's the difference between a credit coach, and I didn't know that. So when you said a credit coach versus a credit repair, you pay for a service. And as you said, the coach just kind of helps walk you through and pretty much guide you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that.
Yeah.
So can we talk about earned money or percentage, how to go according to the, maybe let's start with the loans. You kind of lead me with this, because I just have little questions, but I want you to be able to kind of tell the steps how it probably should go. So
okay, and that's for home ownership, right? So if we're preparing for home ownership, the first thing we want to do is to make sure that our credit is where it needs to be.
Right.
So we're looking to look at our credit scores, and a lot of times you look at your credit score, and if you get it from Credit Karma, a lot of times that's going to be a little bit higher than what a lender will see. So want to make sure that you've been paying your debt on time. A rule of thumb is for the last 12 to 24 months, you've had on-time payments. If you have collection accounts, hopefully they have been taken care of. A lot of collection agencies are taking really good settlements right now for debt that needs to be settled. And on average, I have seen anywhere from 20 to 50% that people pay back. So they've been relieved of 50 to 80% of the debt. And so during this time, it's been really good for people getting those things taken care of. If you don't have credit, it's time to start building credit. I tell everyone, if you look at your credit as a photo, then you ask yourself, do you have a mug shot or do you have a glamour shot? If you have a glamour shot, and I'm not talking about how you look in the mirror, because most of us are beautiful. I'm talking about your credit report, because that's what an underwriter is going to see when you're looking to purchase a home. They don't get to know you and how beautiful your personality is, or how pretty you look on the outside, or handsome you look, but they are looking at that paper. That paper represents you. So what does it look like? So we want a rule of thumb is to have 3 accounts, at least 2 revolving debts that would be credit cards or lines of credit. And you want to keep the balances low. When you read about where my balance should be, most places will tell you that you should not have no more than a 30% balance on your limit. So if you have $1,000 limit, you should not owe more than $300. I'm gonna take it another step. I would say keep it between 5 to 10% of your limit, because there's a different tier that you can go to. The lower your balance, the lower the risk is to the lender,
Okay.
and the higher your credit score will be. So when you look at that, you want to keep your balances as low as possible. And then you want to, again, have at least 3 trade lines. And if you are out here preparing to buy a home, you don't want to incur any new debt. So you want to have the 3 trade lines, 1 installment loan, which could be a car loan. It could be a personal loan or anything like that. It could be a furniture bill that you have. Now I know Rooms to Go has shifted over to a credit card. So that would count as a revolving debt. But just remember to keep your revolving debt low. So most people can go 30% of the limit, but let's see if we can get it down to 5 to 10% of the limit, and you'll see how your credit scores will rise even better. But you want to use your credit if you're establishing at least once a month, and you want to make sure that everything is paid on time. There is no grace period on a credit card. So if it's due on the 8th, I'd say pay it on the 5th or the 6th just to make sure it's in there, but don't go past the 8th. And then that's one thing, that's credit. The other thing you want to look at is how much money do you have saved? If you are looking to purchase a home, there are some 100% financing deals out here, but your credit score needs to be at a certain level. A lot of the programs, your credit score needs to be a 660 or higher to get 100% financing. And then if you're going to do an FHA loan, then you're going to need to, that's a 96.5% loan to value. So that means you would need to have 3.5% to put down. So your down payment is going to be based on the sale price. So whatever you all are buying the home for, whatever that price is, know that if you have an FHA loan, 3.5% of the agreed upon price that you're buying that home for, you need to have in your bank account to put down as a down payment on that house. Now, there's also conventional financing. A lot of times, conventional financing will allow you to put 3% down. So that's a little bit less that's coming out of the pocket. Now, the difference between the FHA and the conventional loan is FHA, you will have mortgage insurance for the life of the loan. That covers the bank in case you default. Now, on the conventional loan, you'll have mortgage insurance until you're normally around 78% of the value of the home or the loan value. So you're starting out at 100% when you buy the house because it goes by the sales price or the price that you bought the home for. But over time, you can get rid of that mortgage insurance. Okay, so that means that your payment may go down just a little bit. You also have your VA loans. Your VA loans are for military or retired military who have that DD-214 form, and they qualify for a VA loan, which is 100% financing. Okay. Now, on top of that, there are some banks that have down payment assistance programs. Those programs will allow you to either get some of your closing costs paid, or it will help you get to 100% financing. I can tell you a rule of thumb is to make sure that you have 4% for closing costs, 3.5% to 4% for down payment. So rule of thumb is to have 8% of that sales price saved in the bank. On top of that, some lenders will say, how much do you have in reserves? Reserves is the amount of money that you need to have left in the bank after you've paid for the house at closing. So all of your closing costs, the 8%, all of your down payment, inclusive of that 8%, that's one set. But depending on your credit score and your credit history, your lender may say you're going to also need to have 2 months reserves. Reserves would be 2 months of your mortgage payments in the bank after you close. So when you're thinking about preparing for home ownership, it's not just about the credit, it's about your savings as well. I ask people all the time, do you have a savings account? Guess what they tell me? Yeah. I say, how much is in it? Well, nothing, because I had to pull out of it to cover me for last month. Okay, that's fine, but that's kind of like a temporary account. A savings account is an account that you can put money into, and sometimes for a particular reason that you don't have to pull out of every day or every month, but that money can continue to sit there and grow. So as it grows, again, another rule of thumb is to have at least 6 months of your bills covered in the savings account. So if you know right now, if you're renting, you have a car note, you have insurance, you have daycare, you have food, you have utilities, you have car maintenance, all of that added up, how much is it? Multiply that by 6. That should be your baseline in your savings account. So that should be your first goal, to save that amount of money. Because guess what? Once you buy a home, not only are you going to need that 8% covering your down payment and your closing costs, but sometimes you're going to need reserves. But after all of that, guess what you're going to need? You're going to need an emergency fund, because there is no landlord to call to say, I need the maintenance guy to come and fix something.
You're right about it.
You're it. It's your house. You're fixing it. You're taking care of the yard. So if you need lawn care, it's on you. So the first thing is to set a strong foundation of understanding that you need to have the money in place. You need to have your savings account right. Your bank accounts shouldn't have any negatives or NSFs or insufficient funds in it, because normally your lender may go back 3 months. So in that 3 months time, everything should have been paid on time. Shouldn't be any negative account balances or anything like that. And then you want to make sure, again, that your credit is on spot. But also, you don't, again, want to go buy anything new, because you don't want to increase your debt to income ratio. So it's so many pieces to the puzzle. But when you think about that, that's how much money do you have coming in every month? How much money do you have going out every month? What is the percentage of debt versus income? So lenders will look at that, and that will determine how much house you can afford. So you may know that you make X number of dollars and it will be comfortable for you to spend that. But a lender is going to say, we're going to keep you right here because there's a certain percentage that we want you to be in based on the type of loan that you're getting, so that we know that your risk won't be that high.
That's what
So
I wanted to ask you now. What if you find a house that you love and you're saying, oh, I know we can afford XYZ, but then they're like, I don't want to say muscle you or saying, well, no, you can't. Almost like when you go to a car dealership, you may go and what the intent or the mindset said, I'm going to get me a SUV, but then when you get there, it's like pull your credit, they look at it and say, well, no, we can't finance you for this, but we can finance you for that, but that's not what I want. Well, your credit or your money, your down payment or whatever doesn't reflect, you can't do that right now. You have to start here in order to do that. So with that being happening with someone with a house, if they're shopping, what would you recommend? Would you recommend maybe just wait or just take the smaller house, or just wait until they can build it up, get the credit to where it needs to go? Because sometimes we don't like to wait. We as a people, not everyone, but some of us may not want to wait.
Well, the biggest thing is don't waste your time looking until you have a pre-approval, because you can start looking for homes in an area or in a price range that you don't qualify for. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, it's going to be a big letdown when you get the pre-approval, and the pre-approval is $50,000 to $100,000 less than where you want to live. Now, I don't say wait, because guess what? There's always a diamond in the rough. So you may be able to find what you're looking for out there in your price range. So if it's meant to be at that time, then that's what you'll find. But I would say always the reason why I'm going through the start of letting you know this is how you start with understanding your budget, meaning understanding your finances. What's your debt to income ratio? Stay within that budget if you're where you need to be within the ratios based on the loan that you want to get. And then understanding your credit, making sure your savings is on point, because you've got to be ready to go to a lender before you start the process of looking. Okay, so when the lender gives you your pre-approval letter, that's your ticket to shop. That's your ticket to shop. So then you could come to me as your realtor, and now we start looking. So that's when you make your wish list of things that you want in your home. What neighborhoods do you want to live in? What is your must have? And what are those things that you might want, but you can live without? What school districts do you want to be in? Do you need a garage or not? Is a carport okay? Do you have to have a basement? If you do, does it need to be finished? Do you want a pool? Do you want a neighborhood with a pool? Those are the things that we look at after we have the pre-approval. Once you have your pre-approval, then what you're going to do is you're going to have a buyer brokerage agreement with your realtor. And that says that your realtor will represent you as a client. In order for a realtor to represent you in the state of Georgia as a client, you need to have a buyer brokerage agreement. Now, if you don't, then they will represent you as a customer. That just means they need to be honest with you. Everything's good. But you want somebody that's going to work with you and give you all the ins and outs, educate you on how you need to do the process, be your advocate and fight for you for the deal. Show you the houses, make sure everything is good, but actually put you first in everything that's going on. So you're acting as the client. So once you do that, guess what? When you find that property, you need to put earnest money down after your offer has been accepted. Now, in today's market, it is a seller's market in that there are more buyers today than there's inventory.
Yes.
And buyers are pushing the prices up because in a lot of cases, people are offering more than the asking price. So to be competitive, the rule of thumb is to actually give 1% as earnest money. So if you're bidding on a home and you're offering $300,000, then that's $3,000 that you're putting down as earnest money. So that earnest money is due it can be due same day as the offer is accepted, or it can be due up to 3 days after the offer is accepted in most cases. Now, after that, you have what they call a due diligence period. That means that window of time, which can be anywhere from 3 to 7 to 10 days, depending on what your contract offer says. Some people don't even want a due diligence period today because the market is so tight. But that gives you time to get your inspection done, review the house, make sure it's up to par, make sure you really want it. And once the inspection is done, it gives you a chance to negotiate with the seller if there are some things that need to be addressed. And you can negotiate that they fix those things, or in most cases, the seller will say, I'm not fixing anything. I'll give you some money to fix it after you close. And if you all agree upon that, then great. Once you've done that, now it's time to get the appraisal done. Now, you had to pay for that inspection up front. Now, once the appraisal is ordered, you have to pay for that up front. So those are costs that are coming out of that 8% that we talked about.
Absolutely.
So it's not in addition to, but it's in that little 8% pocket that we talked about. Now, once you get the inspection done, title work is pulled to review the title on the home. You want to then start working on getting some estimates for your homeowner's insurance. And then the underwriter, if they need anything else from you, they're going to come back with that. But it's usually like a 30-day window, sometimes less than that, if you truly had a pre-approval before you started. Now, once you get your clear to close, now it's time to go to the closing table. But before we get there, you need to wire the rest of that money to the attorney. Now, there could be a roller coaster during this time frame. If there was some hiccups or some issues getting you approved, and you want to deal with that expediently with your lender, because every day there is no time to sit back and relax and say, oh, I'll do that tomorrow or the next day. No. We're on a time frame. And everything has to be done, because guess what? If you fall out of that window of time, it could mean that it will cost you losing your earnest money and the seller walking away to the next offer. And it's some things happening out here today, because it's such a seller's market that you want to actually be on time, on point with everything. For anybody that's wanting to be a homeowner, before we get to that closing table, I just want to let you know this. Keep a folder, whether it's an electronic folder or just a regular folder, of all of your pay stubs. If you work for yourself, your profit and loss statement should be in there. Make sure you keep all of your bank statements, all pages, front and back. If you have an explanation as to why something happened on your credit report, go ahead and write it up. Have it prepared for your lender. If there's an explanation that you need to give as to why your account went negative, or if you had a large deposit go into your account that's out of the norm, they're going to want to know why. So just start looking at your things to prepare. The more prepared you are, the better. Also, take the time to research, to look for an 8-hour home buyer education class. There are several free classes out there. You can actually look on Operation Hope's website. They have free classes that come up every month. You can take those classes, again, at no charge to you, but you're getting a wealth of information. It's operationhope.org.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. And if you need to actually know when the classes are, you can reach out to me and I will actually send that information over to you. You can actually email me at traceypowell@kw.com or just call me at 770-685-8969.
Awesome. Wow. That is a lot of information. So I pray that you guys are getting your families involved and pull up a chair at the table. If you haven't, if you missed the beginning, just know that this is Tracey Powell, and she is a financial counselor. She is a real estate agent. She does a number of things, and she is accredited and certified to do what she does. And she has 20 plus years of experience. So you may want to inbox her. She's given her, and before we go off, she'll definitely give her information again, so how you can reach her. But it's not too late. Ask questions because it's free. It costs you nothing. So Tracey, definitely. Now with earnest money, let's say we put whatever $2,000 down on a home for earnest money, and something happens. What is the time frame that you can get your money back? Say you change your mind, you find another house, or maybe a life situation happens. There could be whatever. What is the deal with that? How does that work?
Well, you have your due diligence period if you all elect to have one. And that's that first couple of days after your offer is accepted. Now, during that time, you can change your mind. So if you have a 5-day window, you've got 5 days to say yay or nay. And it could be because the inspection wasn't right, you decided not to move forward, but you have a due diligence period to say, I want out. So that's the time you can pull the plug.
They say within that 5 days or 7-day period, and they say, well, somebody, because I know it's a lot of shady stuff that's going on, like you said, but maybe someone else came and actually dropped more money, and then all of a sudden you get burned in the midst of, because here you're looking to buy, you put down your money and your process is going, but then someone else came and dropped a little, larger band, and then it's like, okay, what can
No, we're on the contract. At that point, we're on the contract. They can't drop us because someone else has now offered to come behind us as possibly a backup offer to offer more money, unless we don't follow through with what we're supposed to do within our time frame. So if we don't come back to them within our due diligence period to say the inspection is right, we want to move forward, we're good, and we don't do what we're supposed to do, then there could be a gray area where it's pulled, and we say, okay, you didn't hold up to your end of the bargain, so we're going to go with the next person.
So, but they can't go behind you and just like kind of burn you on the back.
No, we're under contract.
Okay.
They could try it if they want to, but we'll make sure that they never do it again. No, we don't. That doesn't happen.
Okay. Even if, like like the new subdivisions, and they may have maybe two in there, and say, let's say one is not aware that there is supposedly a contract, and she did whatever she did, she got another contract, and then it's like that confusion.
Now that could happen in a new subdivision, right? Because most times new subdivisions are using their own forms. Right. They're not using the GAR forms that the realtors use under FMLS or through, our standard forms that we have. They're not using those. They're using their own forms.
Right.
And so they could come behind and pull. They can also, at right before you close on your loan, tell you that lumber costs too much and we're going to have to increase your price another $30,000.
Wow.
And that has been happening. So those things can happen because they're not on the standard forms. So we're not covered like we would be covered if we were. So yes, that can happen in new build.
Absolutely.
In new construction.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I've heard that happen before, and we were in a situation several years back, and it was very similar to that. And I'm just like, well, how could that be? Well, we didn't know that she was doing whatever, and your person. So I was just wondering if that's still going on.
It can happen, but that's why you want to make sure that you and your realtor get everything in writing, verified before you walk away. Yeah. They get tired if I sit there and I'm like, I want to see my name in the system with this lot number.
Absolutely.
I want my client's name to be right there. I'm not leaving. No, I don't want you to mail it to me later. Yeah. Show us right now that it's ours. Seriously. And people might get upset about that. But you, first of all, I'm representing you.
Right.
And if I'm representing you, then I want to make sure that you're taken care of. And it's not for you to come back later to fix this. I need you to do it right now. So we know that it's hers and we're it. And I need you to put on there that the price won't change.
Absolutely. So I know that's why I would say if you would share a little bit how important it is, whether it's you or anyone, but having a realtor to be the advocate for you so you don't get screwed around. Because I know we, and you know, in our early years of marriage where we get excited and we're out there looking and talking to people, not really knowing the language, you know, not expertise. We were out there excited, you know, like putting the cart before the horse, and we're out there and picking a house, and the new property is out there, and the real estate agent is like, oh, well, you can sign here, and we have this person, and I can be your realtor, or I can do, or we can get something, they're ready to sign documents with you, and you really don't know what you're doing, but you're getting excited because it's, you know, a new house. So if you can share points of having somebody to really help guide you and be that person, you know.
Yeah. Your realtor is your guide. Your realtor is your counselor, your coach, your guide, your person that's going to go before you and set the stage so people know that this client right here knows her stuff or his stuff. They're educated in it, and they have someone that's going to fight for them regardless. And it's not a true fight as you're being rough or tough or, you know, disrespectful, but you're coming to the other party, letting them know I am aware of the guidelines. I'm aware of how this contract should be written. I'm aware of how you should treat me. I'm aware of what my buyer's responsibilities and are, and what your seller's responsibilities are, and how they're to come together. So if that's the case, and you're actually keeping everyone in the loop, I tell you one good thing that helps a lot is when your realtor and the other realtor come together and work on the same page.
Sure.
If they work on the same page, you all have one common goal, and that is to sell this person's house and let this person buy this house. And we all want to get to the finish line.
Absolutely.
So if we can do that, everything works well. So it's all about being open, honest, working with integrity, and making sure that everything is given to everyone up front, understanding all the details of it so we can get it done.
Absolutely. Well, this has really been great. So before I let you go, if you could give maybe 2 nuggets, if there's anything you thought maybe you forgot to say. I don't think you have, because but I've heard most of all of this. I'm just like, you covered it all. I didn't even know if we would have enough time. But if there's anything you'd like to leave the viewers, in addition to your social media and your website, your contact information, I want you to do that again. But if there's something you could share really quick, a nugget or 2 before, so they know how to reach you, and maybe that they can start working on before they maybe reach out to you, that would be helpful.
Great. Well, the biggest thing I can say is if you're renting right now, don't wait to buy. People say I'm waiting for the right time. There's never a right time. The right time is now. And the reason I say that is because a lot of times we just have to get prepared. We have to step out into the deep. And it's a scary process for many. But once you do that, guess what happens? You start to create wealth. You start to change the dynamic of not just yourself, but for your surroundings. Doesn't have to be a family member, but it can be a friend that sees what you're doing and now they want to do it. Guess what? We create a leveled playing field out here in this world when we can create wealth for ourselves. It's about the green. It's not about the black and white. It's about the green. And if we got the green, then we can stand at the table with any and everybody. So understand that real estate is about creating wealth. And if you're in the process of purchasing a home, guess what? It's a business transaction until you get the keys in your hand. Leave the emotions out and let's walk through this journey together. If you need a realtor and you'd love to work with me, give me a call. I'm Tracey Powell with Keller Williams. My number is 770-685-8969. You can also email me at Tracey Powell, TraceyPowell@KW.com.
That is awesome. Awesome. Well, you guys got it. You're able to hit the replay and go back and catch it. This is going Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live. So if you go to my channel, and please remember to subscribe at Arthur Pierre Collins, the Destiny Chaser, and you can watch the replay, and you can also share the video, the episode with your family and your friends that people may have missed it and may not be on social media, but they could always go to YouTube and you don't have to have an account to do so. So this is a good way to get the information out there to people that you love, that may be in search of a credit coach or financial coach or first home buying. So whatever works for you, you have the information here. So this is what the platform is for, where we collaborate with other business owners and CEOs and women of excellence and women of purpose at Table Talk with the Diva. We help each other. That's what we do. We collaborate. So I am so honored. Tracey, thank you. This has been such a blessing. I am so grateful for all the information that you have put out today. And like I said, it was free, guys. So you really, you don't even have to pay until later because she's an amazing real estate agent. And so you might want to hook her up and get connected with her. So we're going to let you go, but I said thank you for joining. And
thank you for having me.
Such a blessing. So we will be back next Thursday at Table Talk with the Diva with another amazing woman of influence, Adrienne Allen. And she is a promoter. She is an advocate for women, businesses, and the girl is bad. So stay tuned on next Thursday. I will see you at the same place, same time at Table Talk with the Diva. And I am Arthur Pierre Collins, always excited to learn to share. I'm a servant. I'm shining, and definitely, without a doubt, I will continue to soar. I'll see you next week. Thank you.
For God has given you vision, and in the end you shall win. Table Talk with the Diva. Why? Join in, it might free up. Hey, hey. And if you feel it, don't come in. The enemy just won't win. So God is giving you vision, and in the end you shall win.